The Black Clover movie suggested a shocking twist that could drastically alter the storyline in the Black Clover manga. When Julius Novachrono touched the sword of the Wizard King, Lucius likely absorbed all the souls of the past Wizard Kings and Queens, and is planning to resurrect them all in this final saga. I'm confident I can prove this. Moreover, I will explain that the movie must be part of the official plot, because this is the only way we will witness the remaining Wizard Kings and Queens, something Tabata has planned. The plot of Sword of the Wizard King has a novelized version. This light novel was written by Johnny Onda, but is likely based on Tabata's concept. It's plausible that Tabata provided Onda with a fundamental plot, which Onda then used to craft the story, always seeking advice from Tabata throughout the process. Take for example the first light novel, where Franzel, Code, and Mariella were introduced, was written by Johnny Onda. These characters later made their debut in the Black Clover manga, indicating that the first light novel was part of the official story. If the first novel is canon, then it's not impossible that the others could be canon as well, since they were all written by the same author. Moreover, a special volume of the Black Clover manga was released in Japan, which further increases the likelihood of the movie being canon. Tabata also suggested that the story will leave people wondering why it's not included in the manga, and that gives us an insight into Tabata's perspective. We must remember that he is the one who believes that the plot should actually be part of the original manga. This was his opinion even before the movie was released. And he's right, that's exactly what most of us believe. The movie was great. So yes, we wonder why it's not in the manga. Tabata wonders why it's not in the manga, everybody does. And he holds complete control over his work. If he believes it should be in the manga, then he will do so. A simple flashback to a single scene or even mentioning the name Conrad would be enough to confirm the events depicted in the movie did indeed occur in the manga story during the first time skip. This will not only make sense plot-wise, but also serve as a way to promote the movie. So far we have discussed the obvious point. However, there are a few more indirect clues hinting that the movie is indeed canon. An interview was released with Tabata, the creator of Black Clover, discussing the movie. In this interview, he made several intriguing statements. When asked whether he made any requests concerning the movie's content, he explained that initially the movie was meant to be set in the Land of the Sun. However, they decided to depict this in the original manga instead, leading them to choose a different plot for the movie. So to clarify, they originally planned to adapt the Land of the Sun arc into a movie. This explains the first poster, featuring Asta gazing at the rising sun. The original plan was to somehow send Asta to the Land of the Sun before the Spade arc. Obviously, this would mean Asta would be weaker and the plot would need to align accordingly. In fact, a lot of change would be needed. But it doesn't change the fact that it is confirmed that whatever they planned first was shown in a modified form in the manga. The reason they didn't show the Land of the Sun arc is most likely because the current storyline in the anime and even in the manga at that time wasn't ready to explain all the necessary elements of the Land of the Sun arc. And this is why the Land of the Sun movie wouldn't exactly mimic the official manga arc, but rather it would be an altered version. The Hino characters could then be introduced into the manga in a similar way to how Franzel was introduced. They will simply appear and everyone will act as if they are already familiar with them. In short, the fact that they intended to take an important plotline that was then shown in the original manga shows that their original intention was to make the film canon. From day one, that was the plan all along. That's why Tabata worked on it. Why do you think he took a 3-month break? So why would we think differently about Sword and the Wizard King? But that's not all. When asked why Jester's original name was changed, Tabata explained that it was initially supposed to be Aegis. However, Tabata requested a change as he intended to use Aegis as a name for a future magic in the manga. This implies that there will be a new character introduced with Aegis magic, or maybe it's a new magic spell. I might even make a separate video to discuss this. So once again, Tabata took an element from the movie and included it into the manga. The introduction of a new character sounds very much like a deceased character being revived as a paladin. This fits in well with the idea that there are 23 previous Wizard Kings and Queens still to be introduced. One of them could use Aegis magic. All of this fits perfectly with the final and perhaps most important clue that suggests the future Wizard Kings may appear in the manga. Namely that Tabata revealed that they plan to introduce all the Wizard Kings and Queens. That's a total of 27. 28 with Julius. However, they quickly realized that there were too many, so essentially Tabata pointed out that Asta was more or less on par with at best one Wizard King, and even then he needed help, so he was simply far too weak at that point to take on all the Wizard Kings and Queens at once. If they couldn't use the Land of the Sun arc because it didn't fit into the current plot and instead decided to show it in the manga, why wouldn't the same be true for the other 23 Wizard Kings and Queens? So now all they need is to find a plausible way to reveal the remaining Wizard Kings and Queens. At the end of the movie, when the main plot has wrapped up, they reignite the tension one final time. Asta is wondering about the Wizard King's sword, and then Julius revealed that upon touching it, he felt the presence of all the remaining Wizard Kings and Queens' souls. This means that Lucius Zogratis, even if anime-only fans have not yet learned of his existence, was actively watching and influencing Julius' every move. And so, not only Julius but also Lucius came into contact with the souls of the Imperial sword. If Lucius didn't steal his souls at that moment, then not only is the movie not canon, but it will just make absolutely no sense. It's illogical to assume that Lucius will not take advantage of this opportunity. It would simply lack character consistency. This moment is the best moment in Lucius' entire life. And if the movie is not canon, then this scene was completely unnecessary, in fact even misleading. I believe the final scene was only added to the movie to provide a reason to include the other Wizard Kings in the manga, because Asta was too weak at that point to fight them all. It's as simple as that. There was no other reason to include that scene once the movie had effectively concluded. If Conrad could use the souls inside the sword to revive them using Merkey magic, then rest assured someone wielding soul magic would have an easier time doing so. Using body, blood and bone magic, he can create their original bodies by understanding the shape of their soul. So the main idea here is that Lucius will use his soul magic and the paladin spell to summon the past Wizard Kings and Queens to fight against Asta and Yuno. Most likely this will happen when Asta joins the fight, because Tabata seems intent on having Asta defeat all the Wizard Kings and Queens to prove his ultimate strength. When Lucius will summon the Wizard Kings and Queens, we will see young Julius touch the Imperial sword in a flashback, which then officially makes the movie canon. Lucius will then explain that he absorbed all the souls at that moment. Additionally, he might be able to revive the other 4 Wizard Kings already presented in the movie. Their interactions with characters in the manga will then clearly be based on their previous encounters and Sword of the Wizard King. Other manga series have already used this approach. It's a popular method for manga creators to enrich their plot. Both Asta and Yuno will confront all the Wizard Kings and Queens at once in front of the entire kingdom, proving their unmatched strength. Of course, the Wizard Kings and Queens can be scattered a bit so that everyone gets a taste of the action. However, most of the Magic Knights from the Clover Kingdom will be outmatched and will need to rely on Asta and Yuno anyway. So what do you think of this theory? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, it really helps me a lot. And if you want to see more Black Clover content, then subscribe to this channel with the notification bell activated. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.